Which version of Rob Zombie's Halloween is the best? There's the theatrical, there's the director's cut, and also a third version that not many people talk about. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007 and also comparing the different versions of the movie. Now, most people, when they think about Halloween from 2007, they think of the two different versions. That's the theatrical cut, and then there's also the unrated or the director's cut. But there's actually a third version of the movie and some really interesting details that a lot of people don't talk about, and some of you may not know a lot about. So let's get into this. Now, there was an article that was in Screen Rant talking about all three versions of Rob Zombie's Halloween and which one is the best. There are three different cuts of Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, but which one is the best? The 2000s saw a new wave of horror classics being remade, from TCM to A Nightmare on Elm Street. And also, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is arguably one of the best. However, Rob Zombie's Halloween might rank as the most divisive. The idea of remaking John Carpenter's Halloween, a movie essentially that gave birth to the slasher movie as it currently exists, was already considered sacrilege. At least with his take on Halloween, Zombie aimed to do something very different from the original. And he definitely did something different with his vision of Halloween. It was absolutely in another universe from where John Carpenter had done his version in 1978. Some people really appreciate that. Some people railed against it. Myself, when I saw it in the theater, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I understood that he was trying to do something different. I understood that he didn't want to just remake Halloween 78 beat by beat by beat, and I appreciated that. It gave the backstory to Michael, which was not needed. I do think that some of the characterizations could have been a little bit more quote-unquote Halloween-like, and I think it could have been better received. But there were some good moments. I did think that there were some really interesting moments with Loomis and young Michael, and showing their relationship as it kind of transpired over years as Michael grew into being a young adult. That was some really interesting stuff that did happen, especially in the first half of Rob Zombie's movie. Whereas Carpenter's Halloween is a classy slow burn with some exploitation elements thrown in for spice, Zombie's Halloween remake featured everything from non-stop swearing to graphic bloodshed. The movie also aimed to demystify Michael Myers somewhat, exploring how he grew up in a broken home and what may have driven him to kill. Halloween 2007 was a big success when it arrived, but reviews were largely split. Some critics and viewers enjoyed how much it departed from Carpenter's film and its exploration of Michael and Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell, while others disliked the Rob Zombie movie's gory carnage and tonal swings. The three different cuts of Halloween offer some major changes too. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, guys, because a lot of people have one particular version of Halloween from Rob Zombie that they like better. For me, I saw the theatrical when it came out, and then I actually gravitated towards the unrated. But there are some issues that I have personally with the unrated cut of the film, or the director's cut. Either way, they're calling the same thing. Now, it says, first, let's talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween theatrical cut. Zombie has made no secret, and we've actually talked about this in a previous video. Rob Zombie has made no secret of how painful it was to work with the Weinsteins on his Halloween movies, with the producers middling in just about every aspect of production. This likely accounts for some of the changes made to Zombie's Halloween and the need for multiple edits. The theatrical cut is the most user-friendly. It's at least 10 minutes shorter than Zombie's director's cut. It has a faster pace and deletes the remake's more unpleasant sequence, and we all know what that sequence is. Of course, the trade-off is that Halloween's theatrical version loses some of the good character scenes and generally has less time to breathe. I absolutely agree with that. Case in point is the relationship between Zombie's version of Dr. Loomis and Michael. The director's cut makes it clear that Loomis is genuinely trying to help Michael, and there's far more footage of their sessions together. In the released version, Loomis is still shown to care, but he quickly cashes in on the fame of being Myers' doctor once he leaves the asylum. That said, some of the theatrical cuts deletions are for the better, including cutting down on some of Zombie's gross humor or needlessly extending scenes with characters walking downstairs or around cars. Oddly, it's hard to watch Halloween 2007 in its original form, as nearly all home releases use the director's unrated cut instead. Tellingly, even Halloween, the complete collection, is missing Zombie's theatrical cuts. To Rob Zombie's Halloween director's cut. Zombie used Halloween's home media release to restore his vision of the film. This is both a good and bad thing, as he restores some strong character beats, but he also adds scenes that were best left on the cutting room floor, such as Michael's original asylum escape. In the theatrical version, Michael is suddenly being transferred out under armed guard in the middle of the night, where he breaks free and murders his way to freedom. In Zombie's original cut, 2 asylum workers bring a female patient into Michael's cell and assault her, leading Myers to kill them when they break his possessions. And with that scene, it's a needless scene in the movie. You know, some movies have a certain tone to them and a certain reason for the violence or the gore or just how despicable the characters may be. Even though Rob Zombie set up this world in his Halloween movie to be very gritty and dirty, and you had some despicable characters, it still was a scene that we just didn't need to have that in the movie. It literally, here's the thing, it literally had no connection, to Michael's story, to be quite honest. He's sitting in the room working on his mask, and then you've got the 2 guards, and they're just idiots and despicable human beings. It was one of those scenes where, and I know there was a lot of behind the scenes meddling in and out of the movie production for Rob Zombie, but he obviously put this in for the unrated version. He wanted this in, and I just think it's best left for something else. That scene would have made more sense in something like The Devil's Rejects. You know what I mean? It just didn't really make much sense in Halloween, but that's just my opinion on it. It was just one of those scenes that just didn't need to be there. But anyways, it's an ugly, pointless scene that was seemingly included to be edgy and shocking. I totally agree. The scene also repelled some viewers away from Zombie's Halloween, as did various dialogue extensions and restored jokes. This edit does add some scenes that benefit the remake. There's more time with Laurie's parents and the children she's babysitting, while the extended edit makes it clear that Loomis survived Michael's attack in the finale. There are also more scenes with genre icons. And I think that was a really important thing too, is to clear up that whole ending with Loomis. So I appreciated that. Now, here's the 3rd version of Rob Zombie's Halloween that a lot of people don't talk about. It might be something that we'll talk about more here, especially if it's something that you guys have a lot of interesting thoughts on. But Rob Zombie's Halloween work print version. Shortly before Halloween theatrical release, a work print version of the remake was leaked online. This was said via Dark Horizons to be the version that was panned during test screenings, leading to reshoots that added sequences like the new asylum escape. The work print is an interesting artifact in its own right, as it gives an insight into how the film changed shortly before its release. There are some major changes right off the bat. The opening song is Monster Mash, and the film has a completely different ending where Loomis manages to convince Michael to surrender, only for the slasher to be shot dead when he does. And there we go again, man. When you talk about Michael being killed in a movie, a lot of folks very upset with how things went with Halloween Ends, but this is another example, just like we saw in Halloween 2, where Michael was killed. It happens. And these directors, well, Michael always finds a way to come back one way or the other anyway. So this version also emphasizes further that Loomis wants to save Michael, never gave up on him. This Halloween work print has unique deleted scenes too, including a far superior version of the chase between Michael and Laurie. In this edit, Michael is right behind her as he chases Laurie between houses, which is way more intense. The work print suffers from the same flaws as Zombie's other edits. The assault on the female patient is unfortunately still present, but it represents the biggest departure from Carpenter's Halloween. Now, I gotta admit, that scene where Michael is chasing Laurie between houses, I would have thought he had been right behind her too, because this Michael actually runs, he moves fast. And so I was always wondering, why is he so far behind Laurie? You know, because she was hurt. And it's like, what are they doing? So that edit definitely caught my eye when I first saw the movie in the theater. And even in the unrated version, I'm thinking, why isn't he moving as fast as he's already shown that he can move? So interesting. A flaw of the Halloween 2007 movie is that the second half feels like the remake of the original condensed into 45 minutes. However, the work print helps make this section feel more organically lined with the prequel section. For those who enjoyed Zombie's take on the horror classic, the Halloween 2007 work print merits a curiosity watch. Interesting as the original ending is, it's overwrought in terms of execution. Zombie would do a much better job with a similar scene in his director's cut of Halloween 2, and the reshot ending with Laurie and the gun is much better. This is really interesting stuff, man. You know, thinking about the different ways that Rob Zombie was going back and forth with the movie, but we do know a lot of this was a lot of studio interference as well. The article also asks the question, which version of Rob Zombie's Halloween is best? And it says Rob Zombie's Halloween continues to inspire spirited debate and appears to be loved and despised in almost equal measures in horror fan circles. With 3 competing versions, it's tricky to pick the best, while in its most bloated and indulgent, Zombie's director's cut is still the most rewarding in terms of character development and execution. Viewers still have to overlook its issues and sluggish pacing in parts, but as a flawed edit of a flawed remake, it at least represents the movie that Rob Zombie intended to make. And I agree. I think that the unrated version is probably overall the best version of the film. It's really interesting for a person who's a Halloween fan or Halloween completist, or if you are a fan of the Rob Zombie movies. I definitely think it'd be interesting to watch all of them in close proximity, not 3 in a row, but maybe watch them over a couple of nights and get a sense of which one you do like better. But the thing that gets me the most is, I think, for the work print version, that is an interesting version with some things that were a little bit better, including some of the intensity with Michael chasing Laurie, and of course with Loomis. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Which version of the film are you the biggest fan of? Have you seen the work print version? Are you going to? Let me know in the comment section down below. With the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, there's so much interesting talk and discussion on them, because I think there were a lot of good things in them and also some missteps. Some on purpose by Rob Zombie, but also some because of studio interference. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and I'd appreciate it. And if you aren't subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, do it now. This is the time to do it. We're having so much fun. And also, if you're not a member of the channel, hit the join button and join us for different discussions and extra perks and watch parties and gatherings and hangouts that we do on the channel all the time. So anyways, I'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.